alma mater that at one time I was proud of, become the Department of Injustice, because Mueller is an arm of the Justice Department. No one's in control over there except Mueller. Everything he does gets rubber stamped, normally by Deputy Attorney General Rob Rosenstein. Now I've got the other acting Attorney General who is not playing a role. He's been neutered by all of the criticism that he's been under. We don't have an Attorney General, and Mueller is out. So we are asserting our rights. We're the first to do it. It's something the President should have done a long time ago. The President's made reference to Dr. Corsi, and thanks to evidence. But yes, this case is going on, and we are hopeful that we will get an independent jury. See, the government, you could use that term loosely. I'm not sure we have the government anymore. The government is scared of this case because he previously made 2 rulings in my favor and joined the National Security Agency during the Obama years of illegal surveillance. Later, it was mooted out because the USA Freedom Act came into effect. That was a reaction to the favorable rulings I obtained of Klayman versus NSA and the other agencies, including the FBI. And the cases now are up on appeal next week. You're invited to come if you can on January 9th in front of the District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals. There's a new case in the interim called Carpenter, which found that, in fact, there's no reason to move these cases out, even if Justice Kavanaugh gave it that no longer can stand that the USA Freedom Act protects everybody. So to make the one
So we can't really hear Larry right now, but we're at the post-hearing press conference.
We're not afraid. We are representing not just his interests, Mrs. Corsi's interests, the interests of the American people. It doesn't matter what race, color, or creed you are. No matter whether you're liberal, conservative, moderate. We can all agree that our justice system is broken down, tyrannical in many ways, like we saw in the days leading up to the revolution. Some people are crushed because of the political elite in this city, both political parties, not just Democratic, but Republican.
Judge Leon has just...
Dr. Corsi to do it, for Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Remember, Mueller is an establishment Republican.
So Judge Leon has just ended the hearing, and basically he's resubmitting the case for another judge.
Are the ones that pay the price. And I can tell you, for someone who has been a lawyer for 42 years, founded Judicial Watch, ran for the U.S. Senate in 2004, didn't win, came out and started Freedom Watch. I will not stand for that. I am proud to have a client like Larry Klayman who will stand up to the Justice Department that's become the Department of Injustice.
What did he ask your client to lie about?
I'll let Dr. Corsi explain that.
I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, thank you all for being here. This is a case that we cannot lose, regardless of outcome. Today, we won the first of many victories. I'm here because of my faith in Jesus Christ and my belief that I would not lie to stay out of prison. The one count that the special prosecutor wanted me to swear I knowingly and willfully presented to the special counsel of the FBI, knowing it was false with an intent to deceive, was actually testimony that the special counsel allowed me to amend. The refusal to acknowledge the amendment, I would have to swear in a Bible that I had committed that crime when I did not, was what motivated me to be here today. Now, we're faced against a massive power in the deep state, and we may lose this court case. We may not get a judge in favor. This court case has only just begun. We've only just begun to fight. They'll go all the way to the Supreme Court. I advise, actually, the Justice Department's best strategy would be to settle it now. I don't intend to stop. We've just been handed a platform by those who want this country to continue, including, I believe, God. It was one of the greatest platforms any citizen of the United States has ever been given, on which to stand in front of the American people and say that we're just a few miles from Arlington Cemetery. I've walked that cemetery many times, in tears, for the men and women who, since this republic was founded, have fought and died, that we would not become George III, empowered with a massive surveillance state. I'm here to tell every one of you today, if you don't take my case seriously, all of you will be under surveillance in the future. Charged with crimes for your belief. Charged with crimes because you don't acquiesce to the deep state. And I will fight this until I die. I'll go to prison and fight this until I die. And I'll thank God for the great opportunity that will be given this moment. I'm sorry, I basically only have one life at 72 years old to fight this battle. I wish I were younger and could fight it for another few decades. But by remaining years, I thank God that we have this opportunity, that we're standing at this moment in history. And I thank each and every one of you for being here. And I want to remind you and all those listening, this is not just happening to me, but as Benjamin Franklin said, we have a republic as long as we can keep it. We're on the verge of losing it. And I will fight till my dying breath that we might keep it. I'll thank you all for being here. We'll take some questions.
Dr. Corsi, can you explain the FBI interest in your son-in-law? What do you make both of them?
It's my stepson. It was interesting. The FBI came out as, my stepson. He's 40 years old. And they intercepted, I guess, got a text message where I asked him to scrub a computer. Well, unlike Hillary Clinton, I wasn't destroying evidence. It was an old computer that I had on my desk that I hadn't been using. My wife here needed a computer for her business, and I told Andrew, why don't you just take this over? So Andrew said, I've got 2 German shepherds in this house that can taste FBI, and I don't think you guys want to come in. And we're not scrubbing evidence, we're just trying to recycle a used computer that was old, not being used at all. It wasn't evidence that had been used. I handed over all the computers I used, all the backup machinery, all the time machines. I gave to the FBI every possible thing. How could I wanted to deceive them? And I gave them the evidence, well, largely from which they were questioning, except for all the massive surveillance that they had, knowledge of my phone calls, leaking to the grand jury. These are issues that we are going to pursue. At some point in the years, even if the court of God.
It's very difficult to hear what's being asked and answered right now. We're outside the courthouse right now. The hearing has just ended. Judge Leon has ordered that the case be resubmitted for random selection of another judge. Didn't meet the requirements for being a related case.
Because I was forthright in that testimony, I openly discussed what's happening with me, that was the question. I still, the special prosecutor said there was nothing illegal about it, it wasn't law. Commonly, I would call it that. And it was characterized as a lie, simply as it was characterized as a manipulation. Every politician would know that that's when it was paradox. I guess that they all I don't have a clue. You need to ask that to them. I would need to ask Roger. I'm not going to argue with Roger. Roger's trying to entitle his own opinions, entitled to his perception of how he sees things. I'm entitled to mine. You don't have to argue with him.
Dr. Corsi?
Yes.
I told my son,
He's not pressed.
and they attacked my victim's family, and they attacked my family. Okay? And when I called the FBI, they just hang up on me.
Do you have any other evidence that the FBI or that the special counsel's spied on you?
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of evidence that we've been.
Can you talk about that? Can you talk about that specific evidence?
Okay, I'm going to hold that for when we do get a chance in court. I know that
exposure, somebody arrested.
I know that all the things I'm saying now are monitored, continuously under surveillance. That's not going to stop. And so I'm not going to.
And no one's doing anything about it.
Look, sir, if you'd like to be able to be heard, please be heard. Okay. And then as when I'm finished, I'll give you the money. when I rejected the plea deal and said I would not go before a federal judge, where I had knowingly and willfully submitted evidence I knew to be false, the intent to deceive them, I considered their plea deal to be fraudulent. The special prosecutor told my attorney, David Gray, who's still my attorney as well as Larry Klayman, that they would take it from there. And that's the last we heard from them.
Are you still expecting to be indicted?
Sir, I have no idea what's going to happen at this point. Again, I know I did nothing wrong. The special prosecutor said I did nothing wrong. Except the one count they wanted me to plead guilty to involved 2 emails I had forgotten. They subsequently allowed me to review and amend the testimony. So they were completely fraudulent, wanting me to plead guilty to the testimony that I had not been.
Looking at here in this doing is that Special Counsel Mueller will be very unwise to indict Corsi because it will give us an opportunity that no one else has had to challenge this mandate, scope of this mandate, its authority, the context of illegally surveilling him, his family, his friends, as well as releasing confidential grand jury information, which is part of this case. And just a week or so ago, confidential grand jury information about a witness involving Dr. Corsi benevolently raising funds for cancer victims, individuals who had testified in front of the grand jury, who were leaked by Robert Mueller, which he's been doing now for 2 years. And how do they do this? Because I have a separate Freedom of Information Act lawsuit under Freedom Law, which I brought, is that these press spokespersons, this is one man, Peter Carter, who gets inquiries from the media, you probably know this. It's cozy with the people that make the inquiries. He says, let's meet at Paul Restaurant down the street here at 801 Pennsylvania Avenue. And what would be the purpose of that unless you get on a paper record of the leaks? And we know that's been going on for 2 years. So we have a very strong case. We put our trust in God. We trust that we will get an independent judge. Now, this Justice Department did not want an independent judge. They're hoping they get an appointee, President Clinton or President Obama, or someone that they view as pro-Mueller. And that's what this was about. We're not out. This case is just beginning, and we're confident that we will win this case. And next week, in front of the D.C. Circuit, they're going to be considering the prior cases that Judge Leon had. It's found that they were mooted at the time, but the Carpenter decision, Judge Kavanaugh made reference during his confirmation hearing. He said, I would have voted differently if I had been on the D.C. Circuit after the Supreme Court decision. I'm confident that those cases will be coming back to Judge Leon. So while I respect the judge, he was dead wrong today. And we are just beginning to fight, as Dr. Corsi said.
When was the last person that you were here?
No, I think I don't think we'll find the next judge. They do not want you to be there in the public knowing what goes on. It's why I wrote this book, Silent No More. It's a day-by-day description of what this Inquisition is like, the purge, psychological abuse we put under to trying to work with the special counsel. I advise everybody to listen to the audio version. I read the audio version myself, the whole version of that book. It's a horror show. And the special prosecutor cannot stand the light of day. They will fight to keep this case from being heard because they're afraid of me. One person, 72 years old, was saying to them, take a hike. And that's what I'm going to continue saying.
When was the last time your stepson heard from investigators?
I think the day they showed up and they decided they didn't want to go in and face the 2 German shepherds.
And when was that?
Oh, that's several months ago. I don't know.
That's not the only thing that's happened, and we'll be prepared to lay that out in front of the court. In fact, I said to Judge Leon, and he made a statement that the allegations are conclusory. Well, they're not conclusory. I offered to have Dr. Corsi take a witness stand under oath to testify to the illegal surveillance that's been.
I got evidence even yesterday leaking from special counsel. And we'll be prepared to present that in the trial when we get there. And I'm hoping that we will have the opportunity. If we're denied, motion to dismiss. That'll be the next thing that's going to be attempted. The prosecutors, Department of Justice, Mueller, cannot stand the light of day. They're afraid of the American people knowing the deep secrets they conduct on surveillance, using the evidence psychologically to break witnesses, to play this memory game, which is a perjury trap, and I won't stand for it. I have not lied, I've done nothing wrong, and I'm going to continue fighting the battle.
And notice, no one from the special counsel's office was present today. They didn't want to come out into the daylight. They didn't want to give oxygen to the case. They know this
They
case.
said it wasn't important earlier.
Well, I think we just went on victory today. I'm glad they had that point on the record.
Yeah.
If this case is unimportant to the Justice Department, then justice is unimportant to the Mueller. That's what I'm here to tell you. They're not interested in justice. The Department of Justice is being run today by politically motivated criminals who will be happily engaged in criminal prosecutorial misconduct to impeach Donald Trump. That's their goal, and they're dead set on it. The only testimony they're interested in is testimony that gives a lie that fits their pattern.
And this is not the only action that we've taken. A few weeks before I filed this case for Dr. Corsi, we filed a criminal complaint with Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, with the head of the criminal division, with the U.S. Attorney here in Washington, D.C., with the Inspector General and the Office of Professional Responsibility, as well as the District of Columbia Bar Council, for unethical, illegal conduct by the prosecutors. Special Counsel Mueller and his conflicted staff, pro-Clinton, ultra-leftist prosecutors, picked to do a number on the President of the United States, which frankly all be disbarred.
Are you being targeted, Dr. Corsi, because of your expose killing the deep state, exposing the Mueller fraud, and connection to the Clinton Foundation and the FISA warrant?
I think I've been targeted since I co-authored with John O'Neill Unfit for Command against John Kerry. And as my David Gray said, look in your rear view mirror. A lot of corpses in a dead state and Democrats that you oppose, and they're out to get you. I think that's the case. This is a politically motivated attempt to destroy me because my crime was, number one, I supported Donald Trump, and I still do. My crime number two is I believe in Jesus Christ, and I still do. And I am thankful for this forum. Every time a judge rejects us, every time we're thrown out of court, we'll be back. And I'll have another forum like this, and it will expand the case. This message has got to be heard by the American people, and it's going to take me dying in jail to do it. So be it. Take one or two more questions.
As Dr. Corsi had said, one of the prosecutors, Jeannie Reed, who I went up against with the Clinton Foundation years ago, he was representing the Clinton Foundation, was actually mocking his religious beliefs in closed session during the grand jury proceedings.
If you'll read Silent No More, I show Jeannie Reed ridicule my belief in God. Aaron Zelinsky accused my political writings of being attack lies. This was a politically motivated, and I've got proof in that book. Read it, listen to it. It's proof that this is politically motivated. Mueller is a politically motivated hack who is willing to engage in criminal prosecutorial misconduct to put hides, scalps on his belt. I will not be one of those scalps.
Dr. Corsi, what would you recommend people that support you and support the American Republic? What can we do to defend our country from this?
First of all, I encourage the American people to pray, to return to God and to return to the principles of justice. If we allow the Department of Justice to weaponize politics and to begin putting everybody who's related to Donald Trump in prison because they supported Donald Trump, this country is headed towards totalitarianism. It's only a few steps to thought control, until being prosecuted, persecuted, with massive surveillance technology in place. The deep state will not, even in the proceedings today, allow to be revealed to the American people. But we're here to reveal it. People can pray. They have massive resources. You know, 50 FBI agents, they said we have no idea how extensive our resources are. I was questioned out of an 8-inch thick binder of all the records of my life that they would not show me. would rather say tab 1, and here's something you wrote 2 years ago, contradicts your answer. Why don't you show me that to start with? This is a game that Mueller is playing. It has nothing to do with justice, the way Americans have fought and died for since this republic was founded.
And as Alan Dershowitz, the famed law professor at Harvard, said recently, to indict somebody, there has to be materiality. One thing to keep in mind, we know that the NSA in particular grabs every email, every telecommunication, whether it's cell phones, landlines, internet communications. They had all the information. They know whether there has been Russian collusion, which isn't even a crime, committed by Dr. Corsi and others. They brought him in there because they were trying to set a perjury trap to get him to lie. But they have all the information. And this is what is so tyrannical about our system today, is that if they want to squeeze you, they want to just threaten the way for life, if they want to squeeze you, people will plead out just to avoid that. Now, this man will not accept a felony plea even on one count. Why should you have that on your conscience in face of your creator? In many states, you can't even vote in. So he's very brave in taking them on. Of course, his wife, Monica's brave to stand by his side. But Mueller knows the score. But in this town, which has become so corrupt, so politicized, both establishments and both political parties, we saw Mitt Romney yesterday with a shot at the president, he wants to be president still, is that you can't stand up for principles. You have to play their game. Well, Dr. Corsi and I will not play their games of this guy.
The last thing I want to comment on is that where the Mueller decided that it all blew up. So when I was going in, as I said, offered all of my computers, my backup time machines, and computers, email accounts, cell phones. Mueller was convinced I had, it was all the entire Russian collusion case turned on Jerome Corsi. And I was the one who had contacted with Julian Assange and told Roger Stone all about Julian Assange because of some emails I wrote in July and August and phone calls with Xavier. In July and August 2016, when my wife and I were on our 25th wedding anniversary in Italy. I've never spoken with Julian Assange. I've never had any contact with him of any kind. Don't know him. Never had zero, no communications whatsoever, directly or indirectly. But I refused to budge from that truth. Special counsel blew it up, threatened to put me in prison the rest of my life, and I would not lie, despite enormous psychological pressure, to give Mueller what he wanted. This breaks Mueller's case. It all turned on me, and I told him take a hike. I don't know Julian Assange, I just figured it out. Assange had Podesta's emails, and it turned out I was correct. And if Mueller can't accept that, Mueller has nothing. He's bankrupt, the investigation is at zero, and if it comes down to wanting to put a 17-year-old man like myself in prison for refusing to lie, give Mueller what he wants, so be it. All of you need to be here today to understand we will continue to fight. Mueller would be wise to just settle this case. Every time we're rejected, we're going to a higher level. It's a new platform. Today was a great victory. We cannot lose this case because we refuse to quit fighting. Thank you all very much.
Could you all invite,